I'm super excited to be joined by our guest, Muniqui Mohammad. He is a Usui Reiki teacher over in Japan who's teaching. I'm just kind of blown away, like with everything that he's doing. So I would really love for him to give that life. But I've been watching Muniqui for a few years and love seeing him in the Reiki space. And he posted something on Facebook recently that I was like, yes, he's got it figured out. I love this topic. I want to do a podcast on it. And so I reached out and here we are. So welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here. Fill us in. What's your background? Tell us all the things. What are you up to these days?
Okay. My name is Muniqui Mohammad. I am originally from Phoenix, Arizona, USA, and I have been living and working in Japan since 1998. So you do the math. And I've done several jobs. I've done work I'm still an English teacher. I teach English, but I also have been a Hawaiian hula dancer and a dance instructor. I'm a certified life coach certified spiritual life coach with a cultural connection specialty, and I'm very proud of that. But also I am an Usui Holy Fire 3 World Peace Karuna Reiki Master teacher.
Fantastic. I love it.
Also, just for those know, I'm also a certified Reiki healing drumming instructor, and I'm a Reiki sonics practitioner. So I'm also into the sound. And so, in a nutshell. Oh, and I also have a bachelor's degree in Spanish.
Okay.
So that's like the condensed version.
Yes, of course. Well, one of the things I first started following you around was that cultural connection, because I really feel like Reiki, the industry of Reiki, the Reiki practitioners of the world, like we're all fairly white, and like this is what they look like, this is how they dressed. And I love that you're doing this work to move across cultures and really show up for people where they're at with whatever cultural background they are. So would you mind kind of sharing how you are bringing multiculturals together, or what work in this field to bring Reiki beyond the Western white culture I would love to hear it.
Oh, thank you for asking. And thank you for noticing. That's a very important, because ever since I was introduced to Reiki in 2016, I have noticed that there are not many people who look like me who do it. And when I say look like me, not only there are hardly any Black people who do it, but there are hardly any biological, what's the new term? CIS gendered biological males are not also, they tend to stay away from it. So I've noticed that. And when I went to the 2019 Reiki retreat, and Pam McMahon, may the Lord be pleased with her, she said to the audience, look out here. This is the most diverse Reiki conference we've ever had. This isn't just some big white people's party. And everyone in the audience laughed in agreement. And I was like, go ahead, girls. And so the next day, I came up to Pam and I asked her, why did you say that? And to like a long story short, she says that Reiki practitioners want to see the human family represented. They want Reiki spreading around, but they themselves said, why don't more African Americans and others do Reiki? And they said, we don't know. And it's been my, I'm not going to say mission, but it just dawned on me. And the answer comes like this. Reiki in the United States of America, it appeals to one demographic because it has found success in reaching that demographic. Therefore, most of the advertisements, most of the languaging centers in the way that appeals to that demographic. The way to understand it is language. Even though you and I are speaking English grammar, because I am a Black man, when I talk to my Black friends, we speak another language. When you're speaking to your friends, you have a language that you speak with them. And most Reiki practitioners, in my opinion, I could be wrong, they do not know how to translate Reiki and its effectiveness and usefulness in a way that will appeal to people outside of the demographic that it has been traditionally found a home in. And so, what I have been working on is learning how to speak about Reiki and its benefits in a way that appeals to people where they are.
Yes.
The first thing that a person has to do is you have to understand that we all speak different languages. And when I say different languages, meaning every aspect that makes me up is a part of me that I can speak a language to. But if I'm not aware of the other languages, I don't speak construction. But if I want to communicate to a construction worker, I need to know something about his or her world. What are their issues? What are their feelings? What are their day-to-day ins and outs? So I can learn how can Reiki appeal to them in their world, in their language. So what I realize is that Reiki practitioners, for the most part, need to think about other people's language instead of trying to speak Reiki language to that demographic.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, and I love that because so often, when I really started moving and doing my moving and shaking in the Reiki industry, one of the things that I was taught in business strategy was like, you got to do the market research. Like, who are you talking to? And I think that's what you're speaking to. You have to know the audience that you're trying to accommodate, and not even accommodate, but feel into. You have to know their world, and we have to know what their struggles are. And we can't speak to them if they can't relate to it. And so I love this. And I remember, gosh, it was probably 2 years ago. You said something in the Reiki Raise group to the effect of like, why do you think Americans who use the term master might turn off some African Americans? And it was like a light bulb. I was like, oh my God, of course. Like, why are we using this terminology? And so thank you for that, because it really helped me, one, analyze the language that I used in our company and publicly, so that we could make it so, just by eliminating that term, we're teachers, we're instructors, we're healers, versus I'm better than, or I'm in the superior position of. And so I wanted to say, very publicly, thank you for bringing the awareness forward, because I noticed and it has impacted me.
Thank you for saying that, because that was actually part one of something that, and that goes back to that discussion I had at the Reiki retreat with Pam and others. And because of that discussion, I have been formulating for a few years a Reiki culture class for Reiki practitioners who want to expand and who want to step out of their comfort zone and learn how to think and be multilingual. When I say multilingual, I don't mean in terms of like Spanish, French, German, Russian, or I mean, if you want to communicate to different people, different demographics, the skill necessary to do that. And it's been a long time coming. There's been ups and downs, and it's not ready to launch yet. I admit it's not ready to launch, but it is being formulated of what are the skills necessary for Reiki practitioners to know how to be able to communicate to others. And then thank you for bringing up about that part about the word master. And I've said this to other people that if you are truly trying to reach out to other people, and I'm going to keep it 100, you can't be a white person talking about Reiki and going to Blacks, Native Americans, and Mexicans. Yes, I'm a Reiki master. That's true. You are a Reiki master, but the history of people of a European background who have the word master in their name, it's not gonna, it's at the same time, Black, brown, and yellow, we're not naive to say like, oh, no, but it's just like, it just has a sting to it. Now, that not every people aren't gonna fall. They know, okay, you're talking about Reiki. Just like if you're talking about judo or karate, you are called a master at a certain level. People don't have a problem with that. It's just that because Reiki has a spiritual aspect, it is a spiritual development tool. One of the things it does. Then there are some people who they will have a slight that they'll tilt their head and wonder why. That doesn't mean that Black and brown people aren't gonna listen. But the word master. But the other part of that is a true definition. You are a Reiki master. At the same time, is it always necessary to call yourself that? I am a teacher. I am a practitioner. And I am certified to instruct.
Right.
These are other ways. And once people get accustomed to you, and then because there technically is nothing wrong with using the word Reiki master. It's just that in American English, keyword, in the context of the United States, that word has extra baggage that it doesn't necessarily have in, maybe in another country.
Right.
So there's a cultural connection aspect that we have to, because I have to bring balance to that. Like I said, that's why it was part 1. I never got around to part 2. There's balance. You're qualified to call yourself a Reiki master, and even the word master only means a person who has decided to become a dedicated student of the craft. That's all it means. I am a dedicated student. And it does not mean that it means that you have truly entered the beginning steps of the class. When you have the proper context, then you can say, yes, I am a Reiki master. But if you're saying it to say that I have mastered Reiki, those are two different statements. And while we're not saying that, people who are not familiar with Reiki language, then they may not understand it. So maybe it's better to use other words at first and let them get an understanding, then introduce them.
Yes, yes. Well, and I think this goes back and it's tied to that cultural sensitivity that we want to be trauma informed. We want to be able to know, like, are we using trigger words? Like, we should be aware of this. So what other words in your world, like educate me, educate us, educate our listeners? Are there other words that we should know about that might be like, in this demographic, you need to be sensitive to, that's normally found in Reiki language?
I would say it this way. And here's something that I have learned. When we say Reiki is not religious, it's spiritual, that's true. But depending on who you're speaking to, how you say that and how you present yourself, just that expression, it can cause some eyebrows to go up because, and I have to say this, there are many people who have religious trauma. They do. And therefore, because of their unhealed religious trauma, they want nothing to do with quote unquote religion or religious people. So when we say, Reiki is not religious, there's no deity involved, there's no dogma. That's true, but sometimes the way we say it, or based on what's in the hearts of the Reiki practitioner, sometimes that comes off and is felt like I'm not stupid enough to practice religion like you. I know better, and so we have to, I don't practice religion. I grew out of that. I'm spiritual. I'm over here.
Yeah.
So but we have to be able to be culturally sensitive to people who do practice a religion, Christianity, Islam, whatever, and connect with them and say, I'll say it this way. It's like, whatever faith tradition you practicing, Reiki will enhance that and help you to be better at it. At the same time, even if you don't practice it, everyone benefits from Reiki like everyone benefits from a glass of water.
Yes.
So we as Reiki practitioners have to do a better job of communicating that it's not an either or. It's not I dropped religion and picked up Reiki. No, I am whatever I'm doing, and this can benefit you, whoever you are in the space you're in, if you choose to accept it. And if you don't, that's fine. Still love you, but it's still available to you. So did that make
Yeah.
sense? Resonate?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like, so much of it is the way we say things, the intonation that we use, our body language. Like I feel like we have to remind ourselves that language is 75% of its body language and intonation. It's not necessarily all of the words coming out of our mouth. And so we need to be observant of that and really check ourselves and check our egos and check our own stuff and our own baggage and our own spiritual and religious backgrounds and traumas when we're trying to match our audience and their energy, so that we can be being vulnerable and sharing our transformational journeys, our healing stories, so that it can feel like we're all in this together. No one's better than another person. We all have stuff. How's that? But how's that landing for you?
That's beautiful. My mentor said it like this, and many other people said it too. We have two ears and one mouth for a reason.
Yes.
And a lot of and sometimes, not everyone, but sometimes we're so excited to share our journey, our story, that sometimes in our excitement, we may or may not be listening.
Mhm.
I listen. I think of Reiki like this. Reiki is like a medicine, like a box of, it's a chest of medicine. You will not know which aspect to give to the person unless you listen to first. Oh, they're speaking about this. They have this pain, or they're having this experience. Most of us, of course, do. But I'm saying, let's first listen and not tailor make what we're talking about to go get them. But wherever they're speaking from, if the topic of Reiki comes up, then it's like, oh, okay, when you spoke about this part right here, well, your Reiki practitioner, yes. What does that do? Well, that part when you spoke about this little area, well, part of my Reiki practice could help in that. And here's how. That's what we do. And then let it go.
Yeah.
It's not a trying to get the next student, next section. Just, well, it helped in this area. It's helped me in that area. And I've heard of other people who benefited from it. And when they ask, then go into details, but don't flood them with
Yeah.
information either. So it's about listening, and then listening, of course, takes place in the heart.
Yes. Yeah. It's all about
The,
these heartfelt connections.
yeah, the
Yeah.
ears are just the vehicle for which the message goes through, and the brain goes into the heart. This is where we listen. So it's about listening from here and not up here all the time. We have to use both. We have to use both.
Beautiful. Well said. So I want to bring us to that post that I saw the other day, and really kind of bring our conversation there, because I really do want to talk about it, and I think it will be a beautiful next step in the conversation. So I'm just going to read the post to kind of bring us into that awareness. And so here it is. Some people ask, why are there so many different styles of Reiki? And your reply to that was, just as light is refracted, broken up into different colors when it passes through a prism, a glass of water, or a diamond. When the divine light of Reiki touches our lives, it delivers to each individual what they need for their highest good. So the different colors or styles of Reiki reflect the different needs of diversity of humanity. That's why there is no competition in Reiki. The style of Reiki each individual is attracted to is the style of Reiki that is right for them. And I was like, mic drop. I love that.
Yeah, here,
Yeah.
here, I got it. Yeah, I
Yes.
searched for it
Right.
myself too. Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Yep. Totally. 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 Well, yeah, and I'll be honest, that was absolutely divinely inspired. The words, when I say divinely inspired, I mean even the picture, every aspect of it was guided. It wasn't like Minikai sat down and said, "Oh, how can I say this?" No, it was okay. Go back, change this word out, put this word in. So the language of the post and the picture and the captions on the picture are all divinely inspired, and it's been part of something that I'm working on. We'll see the results, like hopefully the results of it later. But yeah, go on. Any questions, any comments? Come on, go with it. How did it go with it? How did it make you feel? What brought it up for you?
Well,
Everything.
I feel like when I teach a Reiki class, oftentimes I use the words flavors. Like we have all of these flavors of Reiki, and it's just like ice cream. You gravitate to what feels good and what you enjoy, and how it resonates with you. And Usui Reiki is basically vanilla, and it can go with anything. But there's all these different kinds. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, this just encapsulated it so more simply. Like it was like, yeah, and here we are. Because there are so many different ways and different practices and different varieties of types of Reiki. And I really do believe that there's no competition, that everyone is standing in their own authentic truth as this Reiki energy comes in. And you're going to find when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? And so it's like the type of Reiki is going to appear. And so it's not, there's not a necessity to gather the certificates of all the different kinds. Like that's not required. And so I just,
And it's not possible.
yeah, no.
Is not even possible. James Deacon's Reiki pages. That massive Reiki page that he's been collecting for years. On his page, he has there's like a page that has like the names of at least 600 different styles of Reiki, and like some of them are pick a letter in the alphabet, you have a name of a style of Reiki. I mean, it's out there, so many different styles, but just like the diversity of human needs, the different problems, the different experiences, well, all of that, the divine universal energy that is here, that's so loving, that cares for us, has a solution to all of the problems. Well, the solution that this person has may not be the solution that this other person needs exactly. Well, like you said, there's different flavors, and there's also and the image that we used on the page was like a beam of light, and that's like Reiki, and then it passed through a prism, and the caption is that the different people having different needs causing different experiences. And so when the light emerged from the other side, it was the rainbow effect, which means the different styles of Reiki to meet different needs. Well, like you said about the medicine box, the Reiki medicine box, well, there's that medicine for, you know, this particular situation. Then there's another medicine for that particular situation. It's all coming from the same box, but what the person needs here may not be what the person, they don't need the exact thing that this person over here needs, but they still need the medicine.
Yeah.
And just as light refracts into different colors, some people need more green, some people need more yellow, some people need more violet or blue or purple or some other color. And that's what they need or that's what they like, but it's still a part of the light. So,
Yes.
so as long as you're getting what you need from the light, then you know what your particular style of Reiki that works for you is just fine. And that's what was saying. It's like it's all part of the light.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. And I think that's why I really wanted to share that message, because there are certain, Reiki practitioners or certain lineages, and they like tote that they're the best. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. Right. I'm like,
Right.
I don't think you quite got it if that's what you're promoting.
Yes, that actually is something that it disturbs me
Yes.
personally because I encounter people who have been studying, okay, they studied this style for all this stuff, then they study this particular style over here, and they suddenly take on this chestiness that I am doing the, the right style. And it's like, okay, if you say so, and it's not necessary.
Right.
You know, if
Exactly.
you're happy eating vanilla ice cream, great. But maybe the person over here may like caramel or rainbow sherbet or orange sherbet. That doesn't make orange sherbet is not real ice cream. There's so I mean, if you're happy practicing this style that you found, great. But don't make the mistake of saying that because you now practice it, that is the best. Because I have discovered XYZ style of Reiki, therefore, that is the best. Sorry, there's still 7 billion people on the planet, and they just as entitled to their opinions like you are over here. You may want to show some respect to them because the person over here may think, no, I practice ABC Reiki, and I think it's the best. And now what? You're going to have Reiki clashes?
Yeah, I think that's it, when then the competition comes in. And I get really sad, I guess would be the primary emotion of like when Reiki people are throwing darts at other Reiki practitioners when there is more than enough healing to go around for everyone, right? We all need healing. Everyone in our world, in our communities needs support, love, and healing. Why are we digging on other Reiki practitioners? Like, this is not the, the good use of our time.
And it also, I've been actually thinking about it too. And what I think, and this is just an opinion, is that we who practice Reiki and other people who would call light workers, and there's people who light workers, but the condition, if we are the light workers, there's a lot of darkness.
Mhm.
And if we are the light workers, pardon me, then are we not reflecting enough light or is the darkness overwhelming us too? And so, yes, we are light workers, but that means that we should be foremost in striving to look for our flaws the way a jeweler takes a jeweler and puts up the diamond, puts it to their eye. They're looking for the flaws. And when we find a flaw, we should not be like sad or despondent. We should be rejoiceful because that's now, and because we have the tools to work on it. And that will help. And because by working on those flaws in ourselves, then maybe someone else, maybe they not aware of how to work on it. And but if we are working on ourselves, then we can maybe offer to someone else, hey, there's a way to work on this difficulty that can help you because I have the same difficulty and I'm working on it myself. And here's how. But if we think that we have, so what I'm trying to say to make, and I'm pardon me for making it so long, is that we who are of the we who are in the healers, if we call yourself a healer, we who are the light workers and energetic practitioners, we need to practice our gratitude that we were guided to this light, but never think that we have arrived yet. So that means we all have work to do. And that doesn't mean that we're in a better position than the person who has not begun their healing journey yet. Just because we've started the race doesn't mean that we're just maybe what, one step, maybe a half a step in front of the other person. Maybe that other person may, because of their humbleness, will surpass us. So let's stay humble and remember, we were guided to this. We're not the guides.
Yes. 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 Beautiful. Well, I feel like that is like, how can this conversation get any better? So like I feel like that encapsulated so much of what I wanted to talk about with you. And I'm just curious of how's work in Japan now? Like what are you up to these days? How are you sharing your message? What does that look like?
Okay. I work primarily with the, shall we say, the international community, more the English speaking community. And my partner, Lena, she works with the Japanese community because her Japanese is just as good as my Japanese is, hers is just off the charts. And the thing that a lot of Reiki practitioners may, I don't know if they know this, but Reiki in Japan today, Reiki's not really known.
Yeah.
It really isn't. And so I get a lot of questions about, wow, what's it like doing Reiki in Japan? We have to do a lot of introducing and reintroducing Reiki to the people in such a way that's respectful and helps them to understand that this is a Japanese practice. And Reiki is a reverse import into Japan.
Yes.
That's something that's is kind of difficult for some people to wrap their minds around, but it's a reverse. And the Japanese people themselves who are Reiki practitioners will tell you, yes, Reiki is a reverse import. It started here, went out, became popular all over the world, and is virtually unknown to the average people. So there's a lot of work that Lena and I and others have to do to reintroduce Reiki to Japan and to Japanese people in a way that does not make them feel uncomfortable, because there's people have had a lot of different experiences with people taking advantage of them and using spiritual type practices to do so. So there has to be a level of sensitivity and understanding about how to speak to Japanese people in Japan about Reiki. And Lena is very, very good at that. And we interact with Japanese people who are Reiki practitioners often. And so there's a lot of interchange and exchange. But there is a lot of work to do. There really is. And so, yeah, I'll just say
Yeah.
that. A lot of work to do.
Yeah, and it's
Excited to do it.
fascinating to me. Like I've definitely that's not the first time I've heard that even the translation is not how we would translate it because the kanji has changed in all these years. And so it's very interesting, right?
It's very interesting. And just to give a small anecdote, in 2019, we were at the World Parkinson's Congress, the International Congress of World Parkinson's, doing Parkinson's disease. And in Kyoto, the home city of Reiki, the convention center, one of the things they had was a relaxation and like kind of therapy room. People with Parkinson's could come in and get massage and acupuncture and other things like that. And through circumstances beyond our control, Lena and I were blessed to be there. We were happy to have been there, but it also just so happened that we were the only two Reiki practitioners in a conference of 3,000 people. And at a certain point, one of the people who run the convention came in with one of the organizers and they spoke with Lena for a while. Okay, fine. And then they left. And later on, we found out they were not going to permit us to do Reiki at the Congress because they thought that we were a part of some kind of religious crazies or something, and they didn't have anything associated with that.
Yeah.
So, but Lena, I don't know, Reiki practitioners, energy is energy healing. It's nothing strange. I don't know exactly what she said, but she said enough to the gentleman that they were fine. Their fears were allayed.
Yes.
And we continue doing Reiki at the convention center for the various people who were there at the convention. So it is do not be surprised if there's some people from Japan and you're interacting with them and you're saying, yeah, well, I do Reiki, and they go, what is that? Don't be surprised, because in our experience, many people have never heard the word Reiki in Japan, and they need an explanation of it. So I'll sleep, that's how I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating, and I'm glad there's someone on the ground there to spread that education and that word. So thank you so much for the work that you do. So if our listeners want to get a hold of you, if they want to learn more, what's the process?
Okay. We have our website, healinglandreiki.com. We have our classes, our sessions. You can reach out to us. You can sign up for our newsletter. That's there. And also, we're on social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram as Healing Land Reiki. We are striving, because of certain work schedules, we'll be posting our classes and our Reiki sessions. We're in the process of putting our Reiki schedule for sessions up, and we're also putting our classes up for October and beyond. And yes, we do a lot. And also, if you just happen to be interested, Christine, because I know, have you ever been to Japan?
I've been trying to get over there, but the whole COVID thing messed that up.
Yes. Have you seen Mount Karama? Have you seen Mount Karama?
Pictures, but I haven't set foot there yet. We were really hoping to do a retreat for the 100th anniversary, and you guys are still locked down over there.
Did you see the 100-year anniversary that Len and I participated in?
No, I missed it.
Well, not to give a shameless plug, but the 100-year anniversary was sponsored by the International Center for Reiki Training, ICRT, William Rand and Colleen Benelli, Lena and myself, and we took the people to Mount Karama virtually and to Taniai Village, which is Usui Sensei's birthplace. And so on the ICRT's website, that you can still see it. You can still, if you choose to. And also on our website, healinglandreiki.com, we have what's called the Mount Karama virtual tour and guided meditation, where because we've been to Mount Karama often, and we want Reiki practitioners to actually get a chance to feel and hear the sound of the mountain itself. So that is also, we have that available on our website, where you can take a visual guided tour to Mount Karama, and also the Mount Karama guided meditation and visit to the spiritual gift shop, where you will receive a spiritual gift from Mount Karama for yourself. So those are things that we do and we offer. And we're also on Twitter at Reiki_land. And so, yes, so website, social media, and newsletter. These are ways you can contact us.
Fantastic. And thank you so much for sharing about that guided meditation and visualization of Mount Karama, because I feel like I want to know, people want to know. And so here's a safe way to do it, since I can't fly over, not this time.
And just to let you know, like, yes, okay, it's not a shameless plug, but one of the things that I found is that when people they get to see the mountain and they get to like kind of get a feel for it, then they come over, you have a better connection to it. So we did it so that practitioners and people all over the world can have a chance to actually see what it is, when you do come, oh, okay, I know what this is, because we explain, here's this, here's that, why is this, why is that, so that when you do come, you'll have a better connection to the mountain, because you're walking, is the chance to walk the path that Usui Sensei walked, and being able to understand what you're looking at, which is why we put that video package together, and that we have that on our website. But also you can go to ICRT for the 100-year anniversary and see the presentation we did, which includes the visit to Usui Sensei's hometown. Lena was there at Usui Sensei's hometown, and so the torii gate that he and his brothers donated, and the shrine that is important to their family, and receive a blessings from the priests of the village. And it's a complete, you can receive blessings from the village. That part, the video of that wasn't recorded, but you'll still be able to receive the energetic blessings from that. So there's all kind of ways that technology is allowing us to travel to Japan virtually, to distance, using the distance symbol.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes.
And preparation for when you get to physically come over.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. I love your plug, because I think it will be beneficial for all of our listeners. So thank you so much for all of the wisdom and that you're sharing with us. I know that you're doing such amazing work in the world, not just in Japan, but just how you are presenting, how you're educating. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me, Christine, and to your audience. Please make sure to get in touch with Christine, the Reiki Cafe University. She's doing great things, and she's a great lady. I've been following you for years. I really have. You really have a very bright energy, and so thank you for all that you do to keep the Reiki light shining and being a bright light.
Thank you so much. Well, I received that, and I'm letting it land on my heart in such a beautiful way. So thank you so much for those beautiful words. And I look forward to having you on some other time. This was a great conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully we can be myself, and maybe hopefully things work out. Lena too. We'll see what happens. But thank you very much, Christine. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Beautiful.